Hello everyone, coming up on FTC Top 20 Time 25, it's time to recognize teams voted on by the community in December. With some state and national tournaments already happening and other intense events, there are going to be some amazing teams to recognize this month. We're going to count down the top 25 list, detail our personal snubs of the month, along with the top 50 team shoutouts, give some insights into these teams, and more. So let's get ready for the FTC Top 25.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Studica Robotics is inspiring teams to build better robots with their new array of FTC team options. Check out their updated bevel gears and Maverick hex shaft motors, Planetary gearbox options, and 6mm hex components and shafts for extreme power transmission. Go to studica.com/robots to learn more and apply for discounts. Osh Cut is a premier metal cutting service for first teams. No minimum order, options for same-day turnaround, guaranteed lead times, and instant online quotes. Osh Cut is offering first teams 50% off any future order up to $200 when you scan the QR code or go to funroboticsnetwork.com/OSHCUT. Just upload a 3D model or flat pattern to get started.
Hello everyone, and welcome to FTC Top 25, where we reveal the top 25 teams you voted for. From Fun FTC, I'm Abbas, and joining me tonight are Anthony, William, Zach, and our producer behind the scenes, Tyler. We're really excited to have you all tonight, and for so many of you to participate in voting for FTC Top 25. We also want to give a shout out to FTC Scout for providing some of the data for tonight. Tonight, we're going to count down the list of the top 25 teams who have had an official competition in the DECODE season based entirely on your community votes. We'll also take a couple breaks to detail our snubs and give a few top 50 shoutouts. And before we hop into the top 25, I want to take a moment to discuss a pretty big announcement that's going to shape the future of FTC that was recently made by the FTC staff. So last week, First announced a new standardized smart motor, the First A301, which starting in the 2027 to 2028 season will be the only legal actuator for competition use with the new system core control system. No other, at this moment, it seems like no other motors or servos will be legal for use. That's a pretty big deal. So let's go around the horn, starting with Anthony. How do you feel about this announcement and like the future of FTC?
So overall, I mean, I'm not really sold on this 100% at the moment. I understand, so overall, you can see there's a huge difference in terms of competitiveness between teams. Like there's some that are really good and some that aren't as good. And I understand that they're trying to help to mitigate that, but I can see how vendors such as Axon, Gobilda, and Swift, I'm not sure how they're going to be able to handle this because right with what we're doing and changing of FTC to FRC, it kind of feels like we're making it go to one. And I'm not sure how to feel about it. I mean, Gobilla's already had parts adapted to it, which I'm really happy to see. And I kind of feel like teams won't use it until the absolute last minute that they can, unless there's huge grounds to prove otherwise that it's going to be better than what we have already.
Mm-hmm. William, what do you think?
I understand that what First is trying to do with trying to level the playing field, but I also kind of feel like at the same time, packaging will be different. So, like in the past, we've seen tiny end effectors like the cookie claw and like the upper clip butt. But so, how will that kind of change, and what will the packaging look like? It looks like at the moment that it'll be just as powerful as the current DC 550 motor. So, as a replacement, I don't know if it's going to be as good But the thing that worries me is the lack of servo options. And the thing as well is the right angle design and similar appearance to the core hex isn't a great look. But a positive is the 15-tooth spline, which has become the standard in FRC.
Mm-hmm. And Zach, what about you?
I see where First is trying to go, as Raheem already said, but I feel like it's less of a breakthrough, more of just a large philosophy shift of FTC. I'm not fully convinced it's the right path to go down. Well, I feel like the reducing hardware is a good way to level the playing field. I also believe that it's going to be hard for teams in those smaller areas in the world to get those parts to continue past that 2030 season. And I also, that 550 motor, as William mentioned, I remember using that in FRC this last season, and it is relatively weak in torque, and I'm really hoping that gearbox can help make it stronger and brings the same strength we've had in the past. But I am kind of sad on the lack of equivalent servo styles, especially like mini servos that we've had. And I'm unsure of the whole 15-2 spline because of the already 8mm Rex ecosystem that's been out there.
Yeah, no, I think you guys bring up a bunch of valid points. I mean, the audience clearly is not a huge fan of it. There's some people out there who love it, but the vast majority not a fan. I think change is always very scary. Especially when people have invested like so much time and effort and money into the current control system, the current actuators and everything. And I also completely agree with Anthony and William, both of you, about the point about like micro servos, and that's been something like I've been thinking about a lot. Right, you can always like double it to get like more power, but you can't half it, right, to get like less power in a smaller form factor. That doesn't work. So I don't think it's like finalized. Things can always change in the future, so I think there's going to be like a lot of testing, and we'll see like how that looks. But I think a big thing is like the games themselves will also shift. Like as cameras got more popular, or as cameras got more like democratized in FTC, you had games that used cameras more, right, or like leveraged them more. And I think games in FTC will also shift to use these more for better or for worse. But I think that's just what's going to happen. And I'm personally really excited for like students to learn more about brushless motor control, even if they're not like writing the low level software. It's definitely what like industries are using, colleges are using. And so it's like a more transferable skill. And I think that's like an important thing to note. But, thanks everyone on the thoughts. I know there's a ton of discussion on this, and that would be just a whole show in and of itself. But I think without further ado, we're going to get started with the FTC Top 25. So starting us off this month is Team 23361 Cosmobotics from Austin, Texas. They competed a week and a half ago, ending with the number 17 OPR in the world and 20th in Teleop. They had an OPR of about 25 artifacts per match in Teleop, and this was with a pass-through intake to shooter design. And to me, the most unique part of their robot is that double flat flywheel rather than a single vertical flywheel that most teams run. You can see them in the top right corner over there. And you can see immediately the benefit of this. They are just sinking shot after shot, right? The artifact goes into the goal and it just stops. There's no bouncing around, coming out through that like side exit from the goal that we see a lot of teams suffering from or anything like that. It's just like super, super consistent. And I think this is going to be like really important for them throughout the season. And what's going to level them up the most would be making that far launch zone shooting, implementing it and making it accurate. And I think that's something I'm going to talk about a lot tonight, but Cosmobotics has done great so far this season. Anthony, who's your number 24?
All right, at 24, we have Team 14380 Blue Bot Builders from Northgate, Australia. They were the finalist, alliance captain, and Inspire winner at the Australian national event just 2 weeks ago. One of the things I absolutely love about this robot is the free sort system with the flicker feet that feed into the intake. This is something I have never seen before, and it is something that is really creative. Their parking system with their tilt system is one that I really like because they're thinking ahead for when teams need to do that double park. Overall, Blue Bot Builders is a team that I think is always creative with how they do their bots, and I'm really excited to see what they'll bring to future competitions and to Houston.
Yeah, Zach, what's your take on Free Sword and Blue Bot Builders and everything?
I really love the idea, and I'm personally trying to switch my team to it right now as we just see this dominant speed and also sorting at the same time, as well as a lot of extra room nearly in that robot to add some of those other mechanisms possible.
Awesome. William, who was your number 23?
In our 23rd spot is 8680 Kraken Pinion from Wisconsin, with an average non-penalty OPR of 126.46, making them the 13th highest in the world. This robot is a jack of all trades. It can launch from both close and far very effectively. It has a wide intake that looks very effective, leading into a nice turret. They have a good range accuracy and great recovery times. At this point, they haven't lost a match. Can't wait to see how they take this form into February.
Yeah, I mean, Kraken Pinion is just always so dominant, and they do like the early season bots always, and it's really cool to see them like going with the turret. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they bring. It's crazy to me always like how every season Wisconsin state champs just like blows the average scores completely out of the water as compared to pretty much every other region. It's like Wisconsin, NorCal, and Romania, and then Washington often as well. But like it's just in this like really upper echelon of state championships. So Kraken Pinion always does great, and I can't wait to see what they do for DECODE as well. Zach, let's hear about your team.
In 22nd is Team 10255 Robotics. Coming out of the Michigan State Championship this last weekend as Winnie Alliance captain, we saw their dominance on the field. Their unique dual ground and human player intake is an amazing solution to this year's game, and their endgame flip system is very powerful as it allows them just to flip that one base plate down, robot drive on top, and then get them straight back to parking, allowing them to get that dual park for the double base zone ranking point. I can't wait to see the upgrades Robotics makes in preparation for Worlds and where they go next.
Yeah, that's a great sign that they have on there. That's yeah, very funny. Anthony, what do you think about Robodux?
Yeah, so I really like the robotics and system and how they operate. And one of the things I learned from their behind the bot was kind of how they ended up having to do their vision because the limelight wasn't fully working whenever they needed it to. And so, kind of how they adapted to that and added the rubber stops in the back that really just kind of reminds me of the robotics that I competed with. And so, just really kind of emphasizes that Michigan is a great state, and they're going to be doing some really good things for Worlds, and I'm really excited to see what they can come up with.
For sure. In 21st is what I can confidently say is the most mechanically unique bot on our T25 tonight. 25538 ARA from Romania is really going all out this DECODE season. They're doing a 3-pod coaxial swerve drive with a spindexer turret and a really, really wide intake. You'll see this match on the screen. They're doing decently well so far this season, going 6-0 at their first competition a few days ago. Not like top 5, top 10 OPR by any means, but it's a solid start. This is just one of those robots you have to follow throughout the entire season to see how much they can optimize their performance. And I think what they've done really well up to this point is that all of their subsystems are fundamentally sound. Like there shouldn't be any major shifts they have to make to it. At least it doesn't seem like that. Just optimizing small things on each one. And I think that's a lot easier to do when you have such a mechanically complex system than like completely redesigning the intake or completely redesigning the spindexer or something like that. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. William, what are your thoughts on like the whole 3-pod coaxial swerve?
Yeah, I think if you get it to work and it becomes working efficiently, I think that it will give them a great advantage, especially for speed as well as for potential defense that occurs. So like they could probably kind of similar to what X-Lock is. So I feel like when they get more of their improving of it and optimization, we'll see this team more in the future.
Awesome. Anthony, let's start our top 20.
All right, at 20, we have Team 11228, Overclocked Robotics from Zeeland, Michigan. With an OPR of 113.13, they were 49th in the world. They were the Marie Curie Division Finalist Alliance pick and lost to our number 22 team tonight, Team 10255 Robotics. This team we can see shoots from far very often and has a really smooth turret. They also have these driver feedback lights that help them to show and know what artifacts they have. Their autonomous is something I have not seen before in the movements that they do and how they flow, and I'm really excited to see how they continue to develop it. I feel like they will bring out a lot more for their future.
Awesome. Yeah. I totally agree, Anthony, with you on those autonomous movements. Those paths are like super smooth, and I think they let the they enable the intake to just be much more consistent while still being fast. I think Overclock bot robotics is like always really strong, and DECODE is no exception. Zach, what do you think about the far launch zone shooting? Do you think we'll see teams moving more to it, or do you think we've like stabilized at this point in the season with like half the teams doing it and the other half not? Or like, how do you feel about that?
I definitely see a larger population shifting to that far launch zone, especially because you have that really fast direction to the human player where you can just grab your 3 artifacts and go back to launching. And I believe that's going to be very powerful against teams that may not be able to. But a counter argument against that is with the more teams, it may get clogged up because it is a small triangle and getting 2 teams to fit there may be very difficult.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how the future competitions play out. With that, William, let's hear about your team.
In our 19th spot is 31167 bit by bit from Shenzhen, China. They're currently ranked 8th in the world on non-penalty OPR with an average of 130.85. They have a focus on sorting with their spindexer. In their most recent comp, they averaged 5.5 ranking points, which is incredible. The robot is fast across the field, and the intake does a great job of bringing the artifact into the robot, which can be a challenge for a spindexer. The turret is nice and provides a steady platform to score. Will be interesting to see if they can continue this kind of form.
Yeah, I think it's really awesome, like how international competitions are moving forward, and 5.5 RP is just like absolutely insane. You have to have like such consistent performance every single match in order to do that, and I'm really impressed by Bit's performance. With the whole like RP thresholds changing throughout the season, Anthony, do you think, or maybe not Anthony, Zach, do you think we'll see like a lot of teams hitting like 6 RP at Worlds, or do you think it's going to be really difficult to get that threshold?
I think it's going to be very difficult to get that 6 ranking point because I believe they're going to really push those requirements high as we're going to see the top teams all competing. And if they all have 6, it's going to be very difficult to figure out that qualification rather than trying to even it out via those ranking points.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right. Let's go on to the next one, Zach.
In our 18th position, we have Team 10653 Dragatron. 7th in the world for OPR, this team showcases a double hood launcher and a quick ground intake. Their 12 auto was incredibly reliable competition, and their teleop continues to score at a fast rate. Can't wait to see how this team continues to evolve the robot in preparation for their next event.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, again, we've talked about what 3-4 teams already in the past 6 as far as top 25 goes. So Michigan is always just such a competitive region. William, what do you think about Dragatrons?
Yeah, I think having an effective ground intake from it is quite useful. Being able to also work with alliance partners is also something that's really great to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait
And
to
how
see.
about Yeah, and how about that double shooter, huh? That's really cool. Looks like in Teleop they're mostly I don't think they're using it for sorting, but obviously later you could totally use it for sorting, and that would be really cool to see. So always like to see those unique shooter designs and things like that. All right. So in 17th, we have team 15996 Brickbot from Romania. They're currently ranked 15th in the world overall, 12th in Teleop, and 2nd in Romania. Contrary to their name, Brickbot has a mostly wooden robot, currently with a rubber band-based intake and a blazing fast shooter. They have a same-side shooter and intake design, but their real strength comes from 2 things, as you'll see in the match on screen. First, how quickly they automatically turn to face the goal. It's almost like they have a turret, and I think they pull it off like super, super well. You'll see all these cycles up here. Just they get their bang, turn, and then shoot immediately. Even if they're getting bumped, anything like that, they're still on target. The other thing is obviously that less than half a second, I think they say 300 millisecond rapid fire shooting. It's going to be just like really important that teams all around the world have shooting like that. And looking to the future, I'm not really sure how much more they can improve this specific design. It already looks really optimized to me. I just think that if they can implement far launch zone shooting, as I've mentioned for a couple other teams tonight, that would take them to the next level. Zach, do you see rooms for Brickbots to improve? Like, what would you do in their shoes?
I think maybe just preparing themselves for heavy defense. With wood, you never know what's going to happen if you get hit hard, and but we can already see that they are perfectly aligning even when they get hit trying to launch. So I don't. Other than that, I don't see many other things they can improve on.
Yeah, and I mean, you know how Romania competitions are. They're just going to be absolutely nuts going forward, like into the rest of the season. So I can't wait to see what Brickbots does. But it's gonna be pretty cool. All right, so at number 16, we have 15104 Static Eagles from Heartland, Michigan. With an OPR of 115, they are 39th in the world. They were the Michigan State Championship's Finalist Alliance first pick, losing to 10255 Roboducks. And overall, this team is one that I see as unique. They have a quick intake and a spindexer, and they're overall a good adaptable robot, and they're able to shoot both far and close depending on their alliance partner. I think their feedback for waiting and shooting from the robot is a nice touch, and I really hope to see them at Worlds and other events in the future. So yeah, William, anything that sticks out to you about 15104?
I think that going from the back again is quite useful, especially because you can kind of get those quick and easy cycles.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be interesting to see how they continue to develop over the course of the season. And then always the
Yeah.
turret is just another thing I think is something that's needed, especially at high level competitions.
Yeah, and we see that spin decks are implemented in the rubber band intake, so always interesting. Zach, what is your take on the rubber band intake? Are you a big fan of it? Have you seen teams implement it successfully? I know you were at the Alabama event with Technova this past weekend. So what are your thoughts on that?
I saw it as a pretty powerful mechanism because it's very compliant and almost like wraps around the artifacts themselves. But in the finals match at Alabama, we even saw rubber bands getting snapped. I know one innovative solution that I've seen was Dread Pirates 25751. They had a steel barrier that they put in front
Oh,
of
wow.
their rubber band intake to stop any sort of video.
Yeah, that'll stop it. No kidding. Yeah, all right. I think we've covered a bunch of fantastic teams. I think we're going to take a quick break and talk about one of our sponsors. Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks a lot, boss. So, just a quick interesting story. Yesterday on the FTC Discord, a conversation came up about laser fab and sheet metal fab and custom metal fabrication on there. And one of the sponsors that we have in FRC that we've never really talked about in FTC before is Oshcut. So I want to tell you just a little bit about them because if you are looking for a custom sheet metal fabrication, laser fabrication, anything like that, we actually have a really awesome offer. And like I said, we've never talked about this for FTC. It's only been the FRC side, but for FTC teams, Oshcut has given us, for first teams in particular, a 50% coupon off your first purchase up to $200. So if you're looking for just some incredible ways, all you have to do is take a file, drag and drop it in, and they will give you quotes, all that stuff like that. Super fast turnaround. We've had a lot of success on the FRC side with them. So I want to tell you about them as well too in FTC. Just they're awesome. So if you get an opportunity and you want to get a really killer deal, especially if you're looking for something really quick and you need to get parts really, really soon, go check out Oshcut. If you go to funroboticsnetwork.com/Oshcut, you can fill in your information or have a mentor fill information, and they will send you a 50% off coupon right away. Like pretty much just comes right in your email. So give it a shot, give it a try out if it's something that's for you, if that's what you're looking for, is some of that custom work for it. And I think we're seeing more and more FTC teams do that. That's why I wanted to bring it up. So check it out, funroboticsnetwork.com/OSHcut, or you can just click on their logo on our website at funroboticsnetwork.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. With that, it's time for our snubs for the December FTC Top 25. So, to those unaware, these are teams that did not make the Top 25 and even landed outside the Top 50. We've done our research, and we really think that we want to recognize these, and we're going to give a couple reasons why these teams should at least be in the Top 50. William, why don't you start us off?
Yeah. So my snub of the month is 23636 is the Pimble Bees. They were the finalist alliance partner at the Australian Nationals and making their way to the World Championships in April. They were the second fastest cycler at the Nationals with a simple and effective design. When this robot was undefended, they were a beast. Be sure to check out Behind the Butt on the robot when it comes out.
Awesome. Thank you, William. What are your thoughts on that articulating hood? It looks like they have a lot more motion with that hood than typically other teams do. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so they don't really have a turret, this one, so they were kind of going for the simplicity of the design. So they were trying to make sure that the hood was always going accurately. So they made sure that it was a front intake with a back launcher, so that they could always just go to either the wall or the same spot on the field. And they were quite effective at that with a very simplistic but yet effective intake.
Yeah, and it looks like they also have a double flywheel shooter, but the back flywheel is also articulating. That's super interesting. We'll see it all on the Behind the Bot, I'm sure. But Zach, let's hear about your snub.
My snub for this month is Team 27572 Dinonaut. They swept the competition in Thailand, being a Winning Alliance robot and Inspire Award winner. Their fast intake, turret launcher, and quick tilt full base spark allows them to be one of the top teams in the world, currently ranked as 27th in OPR. Their small form factor tilt spark was inspirational on the FTC Discord. Is what made me pick them as my snub. Can't wait to see the changes he makes for the robot for Worlds.
Yeah, I know Dinonaut had a really strong performance at Worlds last year, so I'm sure they're coming back wanting even more. So I'm really excited to see what they do, and it looks like everything you touched on, Zach. Super small, super fast, really great, really accurate robot. Can't wait to see if they make our top 25 in the future. So my snub is Team 8533 CSA MS Miners from Brighton, Michigan. They were the finalist alliance captain at the Michigan State Championship, and they went 10-0 through their division in quals and playoffs and just faced some extremely tough opponents in the finals. From their playoff match 7 on the screen, you can see that they specialize in far launch zone shooting with just really, really great accuracy. So I counted it. In this match, they scored about 35 out of the 40 shots they took from the far launch zone. That is really excellent accuracy, considering that 3 of their misses you'll see in the beginning of this tally-up period were from heavy defense, right? And I think they have all the characteristics of a strong eliminations team. They have consistent performance against no defense, really smart driving when they are playing against defense. They weren't taking a lot of shots while being shoved. They were very adaptable and very quick at that. I saw them shoot a couple cycles in the near launch zone when the far launch zone was completely covered. And I think they were just very smart about how they played DECODE so far. So they have qualified for the World Championship, and I'm really excited to see how they do in April. William, anything you want to add?
I feel like having a very adaptable kind of strategy for this year's game is really important. So like being able to change your strategy on the fly, either going close or far, is very important. Also with a high throughput, it also allows for more maneuverability. So if you can get to a spot and just all 3 artifacts are in the air at that point, it's something that is really, really useful to have.
Definitely. All right, Anthony. Well, welcome back. Let's hear about your snub. Just kidding. We're going to go to our top 15, and we'll come back to it given the time. So, William, let's start us off with number 15.
In our 15th spot, we have 13088, the Cyber Saints from Hawaii. They were the Inspire and Winning Alliance partner at the recent Hawaiian Championship. Currently holding the world record score, they have an OPR of 129.37, making them 9th in the world. They are fast and very accurate, and they managed to get a very impressive coordinated auto with the Pokebelts, which might be a strategy for upcoming matches, and it shows the massive bonuses this type of strategy can bring. I can't wait to see what they bring to the world stage.
Yeah, I mean, we did an excellent behind the bot with Pokebolts, and we'll talk about them later tonight. But huge kudos to Cyber Saints, just really incredible performance in this match throughout quals, everything. Zach, what do you think of them?
This team is just absolutely amazing, and seeing incredibly fast launching as well as that coordinated auto William mentioned, it's extremely powerful, and I think seeing like customizable autos in the future may be very powerful for all teams.
For sure. All right, let's hear about the next team, Zach.
Number 14 goes to team 23849 Droid Force from Washington. They had their league tournament just 3 days ago and ended as the Innovate Award winner and Winning Alliance captain, with the 26th highest OPR in the world. Since last month, they've started specializing in their far launch zone, the new robot that has a turret and double-sided intake. They're super effective with the far launch zone shots. The one thing that separates them from the rest is their endgame. Their endgame OPR is 15.5, thanks to a tipping mechanism that they deploy in just the last few seconds of the match.
Yeah, we'll see this come up, if we skip to the end of the match, last 10, 15 seconds. It's really pretty cool. And, I did it behind the bot with Droid Force early in the season. They had a fantastic robot then. They were second in our top 25. And I was a little surprised, personally, when they went to rebuild a robot. I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But looking back at it, I do think this was the right time to rebuild, right? Because the stakes are much lower at your league tournament. You have Inspire and things like that you can be a little bit more confident in, or other awards. But it's good because they've gotten all the bugs out, or they've battle tested at least before the Washington State Championship. And the Washington State Championship is always a bloodbath. And so I think it's really good that if they decided to rebuild, they did it now and not later. William, what are your thoughts?
I think that the endgame mechanism is something that teams should really strive for, because it's kind of simple but effective. So you see that most teams are thinking about going upwards, but I think by tilting or to the side, it allows for the teams to kind of carry less weight and it to be faster as well at the end game. So it's like when those ranking points do come into play, especially probably Worlds, because you don't really need two falls at the moment. But when it comes down to the more important ranking points, I feel like a quick tilt or a quick endgame mechanism will be very effective, especially when teams are trying to score a lot at the end of the match to try to get that goal RP. So we'll see how that kind of plays out.
Totally. All right, at 13th, we have team 23437 Gyrobotic Droids, or 23435, sorry, Gyrobotic Droids from Westchester, Ohio. They competed this past weekend, ending 18th in the world by OPR with a top 30 match score. Their intake spans the entire front of the robot and is made up of a combination of mecanum wheels, surgical tubings, and what look to be custom cast wheels. It's also articulated, and we can see them frequently actuating it throughout the match. They have something we'll see a lot more from our top 10 teams, which is a gate intaking auto. They open the gate and use their super wide intake to directly collect those artifacts. Beyond that, they have 4 counter rollers along the shooter hood, very unique. And I think this helps them sink shots consistently and minimize bounce outs. I think overall, they have a super smooth robot, and maybe figuring out how to add a second intake on the back of the robot or something like that would just make them an absolute beast on the field. They're always really great at MTI and Worlds and all those events, so I know they're going to continue killing it for the rest of the season. Anthony, let's hear about number 12.
Uh,
All right. At number 12, we have Team 30030 Exodus from Austin, Texas. With an OPR of 134.02, they are number 7 in the world. Overall, this team is quick and nimble, moving around the field with ease. One of the unique things about this robot is the bar-looking mechanism on the robot. It, to my knowledge, is to help show the shooter rotation. It moves back and forth and seems to show where it is rotated and how much more it can rotate. They're able to adapt close or far depending on where their alliance partner is, and they're a really quick and agile robot. I know Texas still has a lot more competitions to go, and I'm really excited to see how they improve from here.
Yeah, that bar mechanism, Anthony, as you said, is super interesting. It's a clever implementation. I'd love to ask them more about it. William, what's your take on these like super wide bots? Are you a fan or more of the slim and narrow?
I think that wide bots, especially throughout the tally up phase, will probably be more effective because you have a wider range just to pick up the artifacts. You don't have to be as precise. But I feel like the wider range bots will probably do worse in endgame than it is in tally up. So it's kind of like if you want to have a fine balance between them. So it may be difficult for a partial pop, but on the tally up side, you're quite fast because you don't have to drive as precisely. So I like the wider bots, but I feel like it could be the downside just for endgame.
For sure. All right, let's hear about the next team, William.
In our 11th spot, we have 12808 Revamped Robotics from Portland, Oregon. They are currently ranked 11th in the world with an OPR of 127.66. In this clip, we can see that this robot carefully execute a nice sorted auto, showing that a steady pace can mitigate any artifact bouncing. But the last cycle shows they can really push the throughput of the artifacts launching, which they continue to tally up. This robot really breaks the stigma that a Spindexer can't launch quickly. I'm really excited to see how they continue to develop for their upcoming competitions.
Yeah, I mean, Revamp just builds some of the fastest bots every single season. In that last cycle, I think it was honestly just like a flex to show like what they could possibly do. Definitely sacrificed accuracy a little bit, but Zach, what are your thoughts?
I think just seeing that incredibly fast Spindexer is shocking because my largest worry with them this season was just that slow throughput. But seeing that they're just able to master that kind of system is just incredibly powerful.
Awesome. Let's hear about our top 10, Zach.
In 10th, we have Team 23623 Hydra Dragons. They are also 10th in the world via OPR. They're the Michigan Southeast Winning Alliance partner and Inspire Award winner. They have an incredibly fast robot and adjustable hood. They powerful auto makes sense why they're in 10th. They showcase fast cycling time and a powerful far launch shooting. They also have a very clean direct transfer to the launcher with no turret. I'm excited to see how they continue to develop the robot in preparation for Worlds.
Yeah, Anthony, what is your take on this far launch and shooting? Do you think we'll see it a lot more? You know, William and Zach and I talked about it a little bit, but I want to get your thoughts too.
Yeah, I feel like far launching is going to be something that we're going to see a lot of as the season progresses because the close launch zones is so big. I feel like there's going to be a lot of defense in that area because there's also not as many like places where you can get penalties. Because obviously, if you're in this close zone, you're a lot closer to the human player stations and those kinds of things to get those penalties. But I feel like the far launching will be something that's really going to be making those teams stand out. And we can kind of see that with the world records that we have. The far launching is really important and really key.
Yeah, what's interesting to me in this exact cycle we had on screen just now is that Hydra Dragons could have done that cycle in the close launch zone, right? It was fully open, nobody was there, they had all the time in the world. and they come over here and then they stop and go to the far launch zone instead. So they make an active decision to shoot from that far launch zone. So very interesting. We'll see if more teams do it. With that, let's talk about number 9. So in 9th, we have team 14906 Leviathan Robotics from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're currently ranked 12th in the world in OPR, 6th in teleop, and after their second league meet this past weekend, they've just really been killing it. Anthony did a fantastic behind the bot with them that was released about 10 days ago, where they literally pulled off their entire intake, transfer, and shooter subsystem during the interview and walked through the whole thing. That level of modularity is incredible and definitely helps in optimizing and quickly prototyping subsystems. I have their highest score match from League Meet 2 on screen here, and it looks like they've revamped their intake to use new star-shaped wheels. And it's really impressive to me how versatile their shooting is. So if you watch the first 5 cycles of this match in Teleop, every single cycle is from a completely different place on the field. They go to the top of the close launch zone, the far launch zone, against the close launch zone wall, here and there, just like everywhere. And it's really, really cool how they're able to sync every single shot, 15 out of 15, from all the different places. That's really nuts to me, and that's really why their teleop OPR is so high in my eyes. Yeah. Anthony, what do you think about team number 8? Let's hear about them.
All right, at team number 8, we have team 19564 Itcan Solar from Plano, Texas. They have an OPR of 156.94, and they're making them 3rd in the world. Itcan Solar has had the world record for a short amount of time, and they're quick around the field. Overall, Itcan Solar is a bot that will go far in the big state of Texas. We can see that their strategies and how they drive around the field is adaptable, and they are very consistent overall. And I like Itcan Solar and their strategies, and I'm excited to see with what they will do more in the competition later on in the season.
Yeah, Zach, how do you any thoughts you want to add about Itcan Solar's robot?
I truly love just how versatile they are across the entire field, with just being quick and also building that robot in such a short time. It seems is just incredibly powerful in that close launch with that ground intake.
For sure. William, let's go on to the next team.
In 7th spot, we have 6962, the Pokebelts from Honolulu, Hawaii, who currently have the world records match. They won Inspire 2 and winning Alliance Captain, getting them a ticket to the World Championships in Houston. In the world record match, we see them fast zone launching ability and how they can work well with Alliance partners to smash out a high score. Their effective intake and auto-aiming turret allows for fast cycles. We've seen this robot develop over the past few months, and they're really tracking along well.
Yeah, I remember my behind the bot with them. That was another great interview. You should totally watch it if you want to learn about their intake, their shooter, just everything. And Pokebolts is always so strong. This year's no exception. So I'm really excited to see what they bring to Houston. A double intake or something like that would just be crazy. Yeah, Zach, let's hear about team number 6.
In our 6th spot, we have team 19256 Cybermoon from Romania. They have an astonishing 147.8 OPR, making them number 5 in the world. One of the things that stands out about them is their teleop. They have an amazing quick robot, and they're able to move around the field and adapt quickly. From what we can see here, their intake bounces up and down so they can get that artifact in the bot easily. Overall, they have a rapid bot, and they can also shoot from wherever they are on the field. Though small and fast they are, they don't have to worry about defense and can get that park really quickly at the end of the match. I'm excited to see what else Cybermoon can do this season.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, just another incredible Romanian team. We'll see how they fare throughout the rest of the season. And before we get into our top 50 shoutouts for our December top 25, let's bring on our producer Tyler for another announcement.
There we go. Sorry, a couple things to talk about. We will be starting a giveaway in just a second as well, too, but we also do want to thank those who are sponsoring our show, and that is Studica Robotics. So teams, we're starting to see, I was just at the First in Michigan Northwest event this past weekend, and I just saw a tremendous amount of teams starting to use Studica Robotics parts, and I thought it was really, really cool. Their T6 aluminum structure is definitely something that if you're looking, especially later on the season or even next season as well too, if you're having any durability issues with this open field, you really should be considering what Studica Robotics has. Their aluminum structure is just absolutely robust. It's so cool to see, and comes in multiple colors as well too, if that's what you're into for your team. A lot of other great component stuff that have been coming out recently from Studica, so you can get 25% off on all their parts when you register at studica.com/robots. And thanks a lot to Studica Robotics for their continued support of fun. We're also going to be starting a giveaway. We're going to be giving away some fun merch today. We haven't done something like that. And for those who don't know, Fun Robotics Network has now been around for 10 years, and it's we're just so humbled to keep continuing to create content for you and to showcase all the stuff that we do. We love doing it, and hopefully you're enjoying things like the FTC Top 25 here. So we're going to be giving away a Artifact pair t-shirt and also some stickers as well too. They'll come separately because the stickers we have locally, the t-shirt will come separately. So if you're interested in winning this, just type Artifact in chat right now. That's your opportunity to win. And if you're a YouTube subscriber, you're going to get 3 times luck as well too. So Artifact once again. And one other thing to mention, we're going to be having an episode coming out soon that is more about the history of fun. So if you want to learn more about how fun goes back 10 plus years and even before fun, keep an eye out for that soon as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tyler. Can't wait to see who wins those giveaways. So before we get to our top 5 teams, we're going to bring up which teams have just missed out of the top 25 with our 26 through 50 rankings. Each of us have picked one of these teams to give a shout out to. And Anthony, start us off.
My top 50 shout out is the number 38, team 3435, Clutch Robotics from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Clutch is the first-year team started by an FRC student, and he brings his first knowledge to guide this team to success. One of the very cool things is that their shooter moves back and forth. At first, I thought this was a visual illusion, and it took me by surprise when I first saw it. And I replied to the video and asked, why did it move? One of their members replied to me and it helps source the artifacts to make sure that they shoot in the right order, and that's how they're able to do their amazing 12 artifact sorting. I love this, and their OPR is already at 107.12, and I know it will go up even more as time goes on.
Yeah, we have a couple great Florida teams in our 26 through 50 ranking, and Clutch Robotics is definitely one of them. Super cool how that shooter moves. William, who's your top 50 shout out?
My top 50 shout out is 16917, the Gear Wizards from Minnesota. I love their high throughput of their launcher. Watching 3 artifacts fly all at once is really cool. It's a small robot with a large turret that is very effective. I'm not sure what the status of their sorting is on this robot, but at one point they had a very unique approach. Hoping to see more of this robot in the coming months.
Yeah, they're going to compete again in early January. Looks like January 18th is when their competition is going to be. So I'm sure we'll be talking about them for our January FTC Top 25. Okay. Zach, who's your top 50 shout out?
My top 50 shout out goes to team 25679, the Cosmobots from Texas. With an impressive OPR of 95.94, this team stands out not just in its numbers but in performance. Their ability to reliably hit long-range shots makes them incredibly compatible with a wide range of alliance partners, and the strategy has contributed to multiple high-scoring matches. They have a very impressive turret and amazing throughput. I expect great things for this team in the future.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is just another super hard region, so we'll see how Cosmobots fares, but I have faith in them. I think they'll continue to do well. So, yeah. My top 50 shout out is team 2365641, Cube Robot from Palo Alto, California. They were the winning alliance captain at the PlaySpace number 8 qualifier 3 days ago, going 8-0 through quals and playoffs, ending with the 8th highest auto OPR and 35th non-penalty OPR. Cube Robot currently holds the solo and combined auto world records and have very robust shooting on the move implemented. You can see them really use that gate intaking strategy effectively to maximize their auto points. Looking into the future, I really think they're going to be highly ranked in the next FTC Top 25. As far as improving this robot goes, it's not really much. I think far shots and faster driving is all that I can see. You can see how fast their robot goes in auto. That's not how fast they're driving in teleop, so definitely some room for improvement there, but I'm sure they're working on it. If Cube Robot had the same accuracy in the far launch zone as they do in the near launch zone, it would be just absolutely terrifying to play against them. So I just can't wait to see their next competition. Zach, anything you want to add?
I just am shocked at how fast they're going in auto. It's shocking that they're able to move so fast. And your comment on that far launch zone, if they were to get that accuracy that they have, the close one, they truly would be terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get started with our top 5. So starting off our top 5 is team 24253, the Giggle Pickles from Ferndale, Michigan. Giggle Pickles is not joking around this season despite their name, and they went 15-0 at the Southeast Michigan State Championship, sweeping qualifications, their divisional playoffs, and winning the entire state championship with 4 of the top 8 world record matches. They are ranked 6th in the world by OPR, 2nd in auto, and 10th in teleop. They ran a 12 artifact auto throughout elims, and you can see that their biggest strength is their accuracy. In this match on the screen, the second highest score in the world, they did not miss a single shot the entire match. I think I counted 45 shots, about 45. 45 out of 45 they made in teleop, and all 11 or 12 that they did in auto. That type of accuracy is just crazy impressive, and it's totally the reason that they've been able to perform so consistently. Gigo Pickles will also be at the World Championship this year, and I'm very excited to see if they add a park capability or just something else to just level up their game. William, what do you think about them?
I think that being able to be completely accurate from the far zone is really important, because you can see a lot of the times that a lot of the bounce outs can really affect like scores. So if each cycle, let's say you're missing one, but by getting every single one, it really makes that far zone strategy more effective and just even better when your launcher can always obtain those. So I just really love this robot.
Awesome. Yeah. Anthony, let's hear about number 4.
All right. At number 4, we have Team 19745 Turtle Walkers from Redmond, Washington. They have a crazy 150.22 OPR, putting them number 5 in the world. Overall, Turtle Walkers is a very fast robot. They're able to cycle 12 in Auton, collecting their own artifacts from when they cleared the gate and putting them up. Their quick turret helps them to cycle from anywhere, and they're able to push other bots around because they have enough torque, yet also being able to run around other robots on the field. Their adaptability is one that I love, and I'm really excited to see more of them as they continue to develop for future competitions.
Yeah, I mean that shooting on the move is just super impressive, and everything as you said, the auto, the turret, all of it. I'm really excited to see how it develops throughout the season. William, let's get started with our top 3.
In our third position is 26,000 Theseus, who are the Winning Alliance captain at the Australian Nationals. They have a very fast and accurate far zone launcher. They changed their strategy from regionals to this quick far zone launching, in the process settling the standard for how to far zone launch. Watch the consistent trajectories of the artifacts landing in the goal. It is very cool. They have minimal bounce out, which is something that teams should take a close look at. They discussed this more in their Behind the Bot. They also have a climb system, but it wasn't needed at Nationals. But with a fast cycling robot, it may be worth more points to continue cycling, especially when defense is harder in the end game. The Nationals had some great defense play, which hurt their OPR ranking of this team, which will probably be a trend for all strong teams going forward.
So, William, I think you bring up a really interesting question. You said, you think the cycling could be so fast that the hang or the park isn't worth it. Do you think we'll see teams that have park mechanisms that they use throughout qualifications because they need to secure those ranking points, but then they don't use them in playoffs just because it's more points? Is that something you see happening, Anthony? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I can definitely see that happening, especially kind of as league systems trying to build up as many points going into regionals. I can definitely see teams trying to get as many ranking points as possible and trying to get that, because in the end, it is about the ranking points more so than the points. So
Awesome. And Zach, what are your thoughts on this?
Pro player, or sorry, 26,000 has always been a very powerful team, and I love seeing their wraparound turret. Very common. We've seen in FRC, and I believe that's going to be very powerful for not only shooting on the move, but just being versatile in defense. I also find it very interesting. They almost had that reset at the start of the match, and I believe that's going to be. I wonder if that may slow them down when it comes to world level playing, as they have to basically stay in that human player zone for a few seconds.
Yeah, they have what, 3-4 months. I'm sure they can get that figured out. So yeah, with that, Zach, let's hear about number 2.
In the number 2 spot, we have team 18270 Robo Players from North Texas, a number 1 team from last month, with an OPR of 162.97. They currently ranked 2nd in the world and 1st in autonomous. Coming out of their 3rd competition just last week, Robo Players have only lost a single match all season long. The robot features an incredibly fast launching Spindexter, is one of the most accurate far zone shooters we've seen this season. Even with the complexity of the Spindexter, the intake speed is exceptional, a true touch-it-own mechanism. With tumor cut competitions remaining before the regional championship, I'm excited to see how Robo players continue refining an already dominant robot.
Yeah, I mean, I really love doing the behind the bot with this team. They've just done so many clever things throughout. Like I think their spin dexter is very minimal but super super effective. I love how they passively raise the height of the artifact with their kicker. Just so much going on here. Anthony, anything you want to add about Robo players?
Yeah, so doing the analysis with Robo players was really something that was really helped me to get some insight on Robo players and just how they're able to cycle and go around the field and be as fast as they are, something that really helps them to stay as high as they are with OPR and with just being a team in general. So I'm really
For
excited
sure.
to see how they can continue moving forward.
Awesome.
The one thing
With that,
the one thing that I think that will be interesting to see will be how their spin dexter and how their sorting works with an alliance partner. Because if they're going really fast or they're with an alliance partner, that sorting maybe kind of slows them down. It'll be interesting to see how coordinated autos work with them.
yeah, I think what's going to end up happening is it's going to be like your first couple cycles, you're just going to, you don't care about the sorting, right? And it's just going to be maybe the last 10 seconds of auto, last 9 seconds of auto. Maybe you only have one team doing those last 3 cycles. If they can do it so quickly, then it's fine, right? Let them have their fun. With that, taking home the top spot in our December FTC Top 25 for DECODE is Team 21171 Ictan Lunar from Plano, Texas. It should come as no surprise to people that they are the top OPR in the world, but what I think is jaw-dropping is how far ahead their teleop performance is compared to everyone else in the world right now. So putting some numbers to this, their teleop OPR is 154.16. To contextualize that, if they never started their autos in a single match, right, just didn't even press play, they would be ranked third in the world just due to teleop. That is completely nuts to me, and I think it should be insane to everyone else too. Their OPR is 47 artifacts per match in teleop, as compared to second place, who's their sister team, at 38 artifacts. So they're doing 3 full cycles more than the next best team, and 5.5 full cycles more compared to the third best teleop team in the world. This level of dominance is just insane and very, very rare. I think right now they have just a 12 artifact auto, but I can't even imagine how high it would be if they were adopting a gate intaking strategy or faster driving or anything like that. There's just such a high ceiling with this. In this match on the screen that you'll see here, they scored 54 artifacts in a row in Teleup with 100% accuracy. That is absolutely nuts. There are a handful of teams out there that have shooting speeds about as fast as Ictan Lunar, or intaking consistency or smoothness, like all these small things that are as good. But what's unique to me about them is their driving speed. They are driving full speed, full blast the entire match, and I haven't seen any other team that even comes close to that this season. When I interviewed them for the Behind the Bot in about a month ago, they used new Swift V2 drives, and so I'm really wondering if they kept those or they lightened their robot. Just what makes them so much faster? William, what do you see as the next steps for Ictan Lunar, and what are your thoughts on the robot?
I think that you're right, especially on hitting the gate, especially during auto, because that's kind of when there's no defense around, because you can kind of have most access to the artifacts. But I also feel like in a lot of these type of competitions, the defense could also play a huge factor as well. So potentially more driver practice around that could also improve for more high-level competitions, because when more defense is there, teams try to stop the highest scoring robots, and in this case, Ictan Lunar would probably be that highest scoring robot, so defense would want to be targeted. But I feel like just the drivetrain and the improving, especially for auto, will be probably where this team goes for.
Yeah, Anthony, what do you see them improving?
I feel like overall, just kind of trying to see if they can get their bot just a little bit faster. I mean, we can see that it's already as fast as it can, really quick, but it's just something that maybe can help them just to be able to go around the field faster than they already are, and being able to also have some more of that torque to be able to push other robots around, because I'm sure that as the competitions continue to go on, we will see a lot more defense being played. So I'll be curious to see how they end up playing against the other defense and the other robots that have that defense being played against them.
Yeah, and Zach, coming to you, what are your thoughts?
I think some of the minute changes they could do is almost shrinking the robot, possibly that width, so they could make base parking a bit easier for their alliance partner. And another one is a lot of teams are adopting that wide intake with the full front bar. But we see in this robot how it's a bit smaller and they kind of have that funneling system. It'll be interesting to see how they may change or keep the same mechanism with how dominant they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like completely thinking about this wrong, but I feel like I would change completely different things than you guys. Like to me, the biggest thing is far launch zone shooting. Right, they're already in that human player zone constantly. If you can decrease that drive time and keep that shooting speed, that's going to be crazy. And then also you have time coming up for Texas regionals and all these things. You got to start looking at the park. Right, you know the speed this robot can move at. If you can get a park very quickly, it's just going to keep you ahead of the rest of the pack for the rest of the season. So huge kudos to ItKid Lunar. I can't wait to see what they do rest of the season. And I'm super excited to see how the coming months play out. With that, Tyler, I think it's time to draw for our giveaway.
Yeah, once again, we were giving away from our merch site. So you can just go to funroboticsnetwork.com/merch, a Artifact pair t-shirt, and also some Artifact custom stickers that we made as well, too. If you wouldn't, please go to funroboticsnetwork.com/winners or just click the winners button on our website. And the winner is going to be at Q3D123. Congratulations. Once again, go to funroboticsnetwork.com and click the giveaway winner link so we can get your information and get that shipped out. And make sure if you want to check out some cool thematic merch, go to funroboticsnetwork.com/merch.
Awesome. Anthony, can you head us out?
Congratulations to all of our teams. Thank you for all the subscriptions we received today. Don't forget that you help support the channel. You can click the join button to become a fun supporter or member and get early access to our content. We hope you enjoyed this episode of FTC Top 25. If you want to stay connected with what Fun FTC is doing, follow us on Instagram and Facebook under Fun FTC and watch other Fun FTC content at Fun Robotics Network on YouTube and TikTok, and join our Discord through the link in the chat.
All right, that's going to wrap up. Our December FTC Top 25 for DECODE. Keep an eye out for fun correspondence at events, as we have brought on even more on board to help feature all of you amazing teams. On behalf of myself, Zach, William, Anthony, and our producer Tyler working behind the scenes, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Osh Cut is a premier metal cutting service for first teams. No minimum order, options for same-day turnaround, guaranteed lead times, and instant online quotes. Osh Cut is offering first teams 50% off any future order up to $200 when you scan the QR code or go to funroboticsnetwork.com/OSHCUT. Just upload a 3D model or flat pattern to get started. Studica Robotics is inspiring teams to build better robots with their new array of FTC team options. Check out their updated bevel gears and Maverick hex shaft motors, planetary gearbox options, and 6mm hex components and shafts for extreme power transmission. Go to Studica.com/robots to learn more and apply for discounts.